Hello YouTube, today we are going to get right to the point and making a tier list for the MOBA game Deadlock by Valve. I usually call this game Overwatch, despite the many differences, they are pretty much the same. Making tier lists for MOBA games can be tricky, since the power level of a character can fluctuate a lot depending on how much XP, or farm, a player is able to get through the course of the match. Despite this, I will do my best to use my 673.1 hours of experience to bring you the truth, so let's begin right away. Abrams, the first character you see in the old main menu. Abrams was designed by some very intelligent people to be the ultimate noob character for MOBA games, so players can do things they are not quote-unquote supposed to do, like unnecessary tower dives and fights that would get other characters killed. Any good MOBA has one objective, which is make sure one team does not snowball the other. While Deadlock is mostly able to achieve this in its early dev state, the designers purposely made Abrams to be the exception to this rule. What allows him to achieve this is his monstrous health pool along with his godlike HP regen abilities. Pair that with the fact that his melee gives him hundreds of HP every hit, and he can become almost impossible to kill once he has enough farm. His abilities, namely his ramming attack, can push you into a wall leaving you stunned long enough for Abrams to get a free hit, which will in turn give him enough health to continue the fight like nothing happened and outlast entire teams. It is a common sight to see Abrams in 1v3 or even 1v5 fights, and while he might not win the fight, will take down most of the enemy team with him. As designed, this type of power usually goes to Abrams players' heads, and they often type "come back" in all caps if you run from the fight or otherwise taunts and call you names, not realizing they are using monster truck-sized training wheels. Abrams' ability to break the rules of MOBAs and snowball games with very little required of the player plants him at S tier. Hayes. Hayes has one big reason she is S tier, and one small reason. The small reason is her transfixion passive ability, which gives additional stacks of damage for focusing her attacks on a single target before moving on to the next. This is how you play not just MOBAs, but regular shooters in the first place. So Hayes gets bonus pretty princess points for doing something you should be doing anyway. But the big reason she is S tier is because Hayes is the only character to have an exclusive win button for an ultimate. Obviously ults are supposed to be really strong in the first place, but all other characters need some kind of positioning, or skill, or even luck to land their ult. But Hayes can just press 4 and exude a giant bubble of death that has nasty range even without items for an ult, so even if you escape the range you will only have about 100 health and Hayes can easily pick you off. If you already know what you're doing and aren't having an off day, this character is easy mode. Bebop. Bebop is your obligatory hook character, but other than the hook he is not similar ability-wise to Pudge from Dota 2 or Roadhog from Cringe Watch. He is similar to Pudge from Dota 2 in the fact that relying solely on your hook to get you kills will result in you falling off in net worth by the end of the game. The hook is really only a threat in the lane phase and towards the end game when you are trying to get into the enemy base to kill their ancient. Bebop's laser gun is absolutely superb at getting last hits from creeps, and should be abused as often as possible the entire course of the game to gain and deny souls. This character can be a decent threat from the start of the game to the end if played in the right hands, making them a solid B, but will never creep into low A even with tons of feed. Billy. Billy is one of the newer heroes. The devs are obviously still workshopping this guy in terms of balance. He came out weak as heck and relied on his teammates to achieve anything, then you blink and he can 1v4 in his sleep. His power level feels different every match he is in and seems like he needs luck and a decent player behind the keyboard to excel. The safe option is to place him in B, but he can get to A with farm. He is a hero that revolves around melee attacks and can tower dive and get dirty kills and stall teams with ease, but despite all that he is still nothing when fighting Abrams 1v1 and will be completely flattened. And yes, I have seen Abrams players bully Billy players, gloating over their superiority as the better melee hero. Calico. Calico gave me PTSD as being the most annoying hero ever when she was first added, being completely frickin' broken right out the gate. She would be easy S tier had I made this vid a few months ago, but now she has been balanced very nicely by the dev team. She has 2 built-in escapes and in close range that once upon a team made for the cheapest flippin' kit I've ever seen. Now she is a nice and normal low B tier. Doorman. Doorman is a really cool hero because he has an ability to create portals around the map that players can seamlessly walk between. Unfortunately, the portal must be placed on a wall, floor portals are not allowed. Doorman also has an ability where he shoots out a bell cart that will push enemies into your portals that he places. His bell bomb ability is really good and is pretty much impossible to dodge. But outside of the portal tech mind games, this character has the potential to be, he is just a normal B tier character. If you're not thinking with portals, you'll never be a good doorman. Bloodseeker, oh sorry I meant to say Drifter. This character reminds me of Bloodseeker, which in turn brings me back to the good old days of the jungler role from Dotes 2. Bloodseeker isn't as strong as Billy, but let me say, Drifter is the best made character in the game. He is fun to build with items and all his abilities deal decent damage without feeling cheap. He has a solid melee ability that can deal 200 damage at close range or 100 and a short medium range, which can also last hit creeps for you. His ult ability is genuinely fun, it blinds all enemies caught in it, however the enemy team can still see at a close range, so it's not ridiculous. Drifter truly deserves his spot in B tier, for being both viable and fun. Bravo dev team, I wish every character becomes as fun as Drifter. Bloodseeker can easily get into A with feed. Dynamo. Dynamo is a quiet large robot. I think the joke is that he is fat so he has an orbit like a planet or sucks in matter like a black hole, like his ult is named after. Dynamo is C tier, but he has some great abilities, but he's never going to be. He has a great ground stomp ability that slows enemies, forces enemies into in the air, leaving them an easy target on top of very high damage. Use the stomp ability even at medium range to finish low health characters off. Dynamo has an extremely useful ult, which sucks in nearby enemies and holds them helpless for a long time so his team can easily kill them. It's super useful, be 1v1 or teamfight, and can be used to easily steal the Aegis from mid-boss and screw over the other team. Be warned, the ult has really bad range and a massive 200-second cooldown. Try not to panic ult with this fat robot. Grey Talon. Grey Talon is the most annoying enemy in the game, who can deal hundreds of damage to you from crazy far away with his magic green arrow ability, and to add to it's got the hitbox bigger than the wooden logs Hanzo from Cringe Watch shoots. He has another ability where his bow turns into a shotgun and shoots out 5 arrows at once, and they also end up hitting you from any range. Finally, his ult is a hunter-seeker drone with he can control with great accuracy, so basically what this all means, he is cancer in lane phase and will get 1 kill minimum for free as long as he spams all his abilities. Grey Talon kills me behind my tower a lot while he sits behind at his own tower at the opposite end of the lane. His kit also makes him really frickin' annoying through the course of the match. Vendita is the quote-unquote sniper character of this game, yet the kind of range Grey Talon gets for free is locked behind an ult for her. Unserved a tier, this character is truly better than others for no reason. Holiday. Holiday is our first D tier, mainly because all of her abilities are just underwhelming and lame. Her one is shooting out a very slow, easily dodgeable explosive barrel which never hits anyone. You would seriously have to have the situational awareness of a potato to get hit. Her second ability does no damage, she just puts down a bounce pad that both allies and enemies can use. Again, for enemies it's as simple as not walking on it to avoid it messing up your positioning. Her ult is the only ability of note, lassoing enemies and grabbing them, like Mo and Krill's ult, but better, because Holiday can drag them back over to her team for an easy kill. Holiday may sometimes be a threat in lane, but once lane phase is over she might as well not exist anymore outside of landing an ult now and again. Infernus. Infernus is a slow hero to get started. It takes a lot of souls aka gold and XP to level up, buy items, and get the ball rolling before this Infernus can reach his full potential. He is B tier at the start of the match but usually ends up A after about 15 minutes, although if the Infernus player sucks and or is unlucky and having a bad game he will stay B. This makes the character very dependent on Lady Luck, ensuring he gets a good team and game for his farm so he can pop off and get going. If he does, his bleeds and burns can become a straight up wall that kills the enemy team's momentum in team fights and can 1v1 like a boss. A tier overall. Ivy. The story they won't tell you about Ivy's design is pretty funny. Her first in-game model was mad ugly, but some furry fetishists actually got really turned on by her gremlin esque appearance and started making a lot of Rule 34 of her. Eventually some artists started changing her design to be more cute and less ugly. Someone at Valve saw this new porn design and actually liked it a lot, and so Ivy's in-game model was redone to more closely resemble her Rule 34 porn design. Besides that, this character is pretty forgettable. She has a cool crossbow gun that shoots out like an M4 and can deal a lot of damage, a big area denial grenade, and she can turn into a statue and stun people, which is good for dodging debuffs and stuns. She is capable of doing a lot of things, but look, the short of it is she is just okay. You'll never see this character do any crazy plays, only boring and forgettable things. It was a struggle to write this and trying to remember anything really noteworthy about her. Kelvin. Kelvin found a giant ice rock in Antarctica and got ice powers or something. Kelvin is actually kind of cool, but only kind of. He has a really useful ice ray ability that has annoying long range and can slow down enemies like a MF, dealing low damage though. He has this move that lets him walk around on an ice platform he generates while he moves, like Frozone from Incredibles or the ice gun for the HL2 EP3 development from the HL2 25th anniversary vid. His ULT generates a frozen bubble around him that other players cannot enter or escape, and he gets a ton of regen. Good for getting some kills, but is used at the wrong time can deny your own team for advancing. I don't often see Kelvins, but when I do, they seem to have hundreds of hours of Kelvin playtime and know him inside and out. Very dangerous character, almost too overtuned sometimes. A tier. Lady Geist. Lady Geist is the most pretentious character in the game. She is designed to be some high-class figure of power and influence by design and lore, but she is just mid in reality. I have never seen a Geist player flame in chat, and I image the reason why is that you are just profoundly humbled by how mid this character is when you are playing her. She has two tools that make her useful: her ULT and her grenade spam, the latter of which is only useful in lane phase. Her grenade has a really big range, that is pretty much undodgeable, which she can spam around and near your tower to get hits with no effort during lane, but drops off to mediocrity once that's done. Her ULT lets her steal 3/4s of your health if you are at point blank range of her, which can turn a 1v1 in her favor, but never a team fight. That's all she's got going for her. Lash. Lash was once S tier because every part of his kit was broken, but those days are long gone and he has been properly balanced. What has remained from the broken days is his ULT, which lets him grab up to the entire enemy team and throw them wherever he chooses, most devastatingly behind a tower. No poisoning is required to get 3 or 4 players in the ULT, since its range outdoes any other ability in the game by a long shot. How it basically works is, if Lash can see you and everyone in the fight with you, is screwed. It's not an instant win button like Haze, but his ULT gives him such as leading advantage that it's almost impossible to recover after a Lash ULT. Death is 90% going to happen. Very undeserved S tier. McGinnis. McGinnis is high C. In earlier builds when we had solo lanes she could easily kill your tower and screw up your entire lane with her minigun, which has a very high rate of fire with a large magazine, combined with her mini sentry spam. She was the character conceptualized to be the lane killer, but now those days are gone and mid-game McGinnis is now early game McGinnis as well. And mid-game McGinnis ain't sh***. Her wall ability is cool, which creates a giant wall you can't jump over and can be used to block of enemies from escaping or stop the enemy team for advancing, but only for like 2 or 3 seconds. You might get a single kill with it, but it's not going to win you any team fights. Her ult just shoots high damage bombs in the direction she faces, cool but easily dodgeable. Everyone knows to just avoid the threat by hiding behind a wall for the short duration and then countering the fight. C tier, if she gets enough feed she can earn a place in Luau. B tier. Mina. Mina, one of the new 6 heroes that have been recently added to the game. I had the most trouble placing this hero, as I have seen her at a few different power levels throughout my matches. I'm going to go with the safest option for her placement, B, but she can become A with feed. Mind you, she is the squishiest A tier in the game currently. Being squishy is MOBA speak, which means she has a low health pool even after she levels up many times. Her most defining moves would be her 2, which lets her fly away in a swarm of bats, which is great to retreat, void stuns, and debuffs. Her ult is similar to McGinnis, except she flies up in the air for height advantage and the duration is much shorter. The big thing is that this ult causes silence, so no one can use their abilities for like 0.9 seconds after it hits them. This makes it so much more useful than McGinnis's simplistic high damage in both 1v1s and team fights. B and can go into A or C depending on the player behind the screen. Mirage. Mirage is easy D, easiest decision on this whole list. Easiest decision of my entire week. When Mirage was first added, he was the worst hero out the gate, with K/DS like 0/14/2 being often sights. However, he has come a long way, and lots of skilled players have worked hard, examined the meta, workshopped his builds, spend that time in the lab to synthesize this character to something greater. And the results of these bring this character from dog sh*** to terrible. It sounds very harsh, but seriously some of the 5 or 6 real Mirage fans will recognize this as high praise. His average KD is okay sometimes but still looks pretty bad most of the time. I've seen a handful of skilled Mirages, but this guy is as D tier gets. I've recently seen some okay Mirage players out in the field, however. Maybe he is moving up the world. Maybe. Mo and Krill, the skill bottleneck. Mo is the giant mole, and Krill is the devolved underground gray-skinned human who rapidly fallen down the human evolutionary line into a vitamin D deprived dwarf. Anyway, Mo and Krill is D tier trash. He is a close range character and the opposite of Abrams, a true mirror of A S tier and A D tier. Mo and Krill's gun deals F***ing pitiful damage, and because of this never gets actual kills in fights, only assists if things go well. Mo and Krill is completely dependent on their team carrying them to victory, and since his gun sucks only has 2 methods of dealing damage, his 2, which lets him burrow and pop up and spin to win, and his ult, which grabs enemies leaving both them and you helpless. An inferior version of Holiday's and Dynamo's ult, but at least it has far superior cooldown. These are the only 2 tools a Mo and Krill players has to succeed, use them wisely. Fun fact, this character is my main. Paige. Paige is easy A tier. It's simple, her abilities are strong, have infinite range, they are spammable, she can heal teammates, her ult is a long stun plus damage. Easy A tier, nuff said. Paradox. God, what is there to say even? How useless. Mirage is worse, but I can at least say something about him. Paradox really has nothing going for her. She has the worst ult in the game, where she shoots single projectile that swaps placement with her and the enemy. A great way to both die in a die fight. D tier, forgettable self-imposed challenge character. Pocket. The king of D tier, and can actually be useful in short durations before all his abilities are used up and go on cooldown. His 2 launches out a giant ghostly, code. AF **** in ghost code, who even came up with that? But anyway, it lets him teleport around, which is useful to escape, but has offensive capability. His ult lets out a giant shard that potions everyone in the radius but doesn't go below 1 HP. If anyone doesn't die during this, it basically forces them to back off and go back to the fountain to heal. He's pretty good for D tier, but you aren't going to be seeing him very often. Arguably should be placed in C tier. 7 I am quite confident is the king of A tier. He has pretty much everything in his kit he needs to succeed. 7 players are also the nastiest players in the game. They flame in chat marginally more than any other hero, and will take absolutely any bait the enemy team butts in front of him. An example may be bait 7 to the side in lane to fight him without creep support, or initiate a fight with 7 and then run away into a building so he gets jumped by the rest of the team. 7 will follow 110% of the time. 7's great tools also allow him to steal all the allied farms, so he will often have a high soul count. Despite often having KD ratios that look something like 9 kills 9 deaths 5 assists, he will still be a solid addition to any team and will be useful in fights he is in. Shiv. Shiv is the pick hero, which means he gets to pick someone to die. So he gets free kills with his ult if the enemy nearby has low health, say about 25 out of 100% health. This alone gives him access to a lot of free feed, but on top of that someone at Valve decided to make him a tank as well, so he has almost a Bytram's level health and is impossible to kill without 2 or 3 teammates helping at times. This character is such a Mary Sue lore-wise as well. He is so quirky, weird, different, and doesn't fit in, but he is so epic the organization he belongs to is forced to let him stay. A tier, Sinclair. I don't know if Sinclair's model is a alpha asset or he is a storm mannequin that has come to life to be a magician. I like to think that he is. Sinclair really is a deadly threat in lane phase. He has good escapes and can deal basically double damage with his gun by placing a after image, which is kind of like an invincible mini turret. However, after lane phase he falls off immediately into mediocrity. Not D tier but very lame. C tier. Victor, the current king of B tier. The big thing about Victor is that his ult brings him back to life after being killed and puts a big Infernus ult explosion in the area where he died. He can also heal himself with his 2, which is like a healing right injected with morphine to make him really hard to kill because he can just run away and heal at any time. Cool character that can walk around and not give a flip about dying because of ult, but even with feed rarely makes into a Vendita. The sniper character of this game, but her most remarkable feature is of course, not her sniper rifle, but something else. Vindictia has an ability that lets her fly around and deal extra spirit damage, so she can be really dangerous with her ult, and can basically get a good sniper vantage point absolutely anywhere. A. Viscous. A big ball of mucus. Viscous doesn't have a lot going for her other than being annoying. Annoying to kill since she has a cube ability that puts her or a teammate in a giant gelatin cube. Annoying to lane against because she can conjure big jello fists to knock you around. Annoying in team fights because it turns into a big jello ball with 200% health that you need 4 people to kill and she stuns you. Usually is just annoying, and not a real threat unless you slip up. C tier. Viper. Viper is the ultimate nothing hero. She can shoot a bloody cleaver like Scout from TF2 for her 1, but its damage is so negligible it's useless outside of the first 10 minutes. Her main thing is extra slide time and she can slide up slopes, but it's not going to save her from her terrible health pool. This character simply cannot fight because she will get killed in the blink of an eye. The worst thing is her ult, which you have to aim yourself, so if you miss you're screwed and don't get an ult. But the kicker is that it does 0 damage. It just turns your target to stone and then the target is invulnerable. It's supposed to stop the target from running, but it is often missed and even more often does not even land its target. Nothing hero. Bottom of D, trash, I hate her. Warden. The gambling hero for gambling addicts. I have nothing to say about this dude, because there is nothing to say. 50% chance he contributes to the team, 50% chance he does not. C. Wraith. Wraith is solid. Can deal lots of damage at range, but needs a lot of feed to deal the damage. A feed Wraith can end you game, but she has to be feed and lucky to get the drop on people. Wraith is a good example of the devs listening to the community. Her ult used to be a win button akin to Haze, but it has been nerfed into fairness. B but can move up with farm. Yamato. The ugliest character in the game. Ice Frog, please tell me this is a placeholder model. Top dev priority should be trash his model and apologizing. Her concept art is better too, just WTF. Anyway, this character is a thanks for watching, subscribe and together we will take over YouTube.